Can I continue funding an HSA if I am no longer employed by the company that offered it, but still have the account? Does it make sense to place it into an HSA investment account? What do you say?
So you certainly can continue with that HSA. You may want to move it out, out of that particular one that was under the employee.
Whose account is it?
It is. Yeah, I was just talking with Toby before the show about this. That even if it's an employer sponsored HSA, it actually is the employees should they choose to leave. Something for a long time I didn't know, and I relatively recently figured that out. So certainly before I got to this question though. But anyway, so it's yours, and feel free to keep it, but you might want to move it into another one of your HSAs, and you can actually have unlimited HSAs. We just can't put more in a year collectively than whatever the limits are for that particular year.
Just over 4,000 for an individual, about 8,000 in 2024. For last year, what was it, 7,750 and around 3,800 bucks per, I think it was 3,850 for an individual. So you're just trying to make sure that you're putting that money aside. You get a deduction for it. You don't pay tax on the growth. So if, like, I have one in Fidelity, I'm not saying where you should do it. I just happened to do that. And Fidelity was super easy to open, and I just fund it every year. There's no income limitations on it. It's actually really simple. And and this is the cool part, you don't have to use it right now. Like, you could have all sorts of reimbursements, but you just let it grow. You can go back, if it's 10 years from now, you could go back and reimburse all those expenses that were medical, dental, vision, those types of expenses. I think it's covering all. But health expenses for sure. You don't pay tax at any of the growth. And as long as you use it for qualified health, you don't pay any tax on it. So you're getting a deduction, and you never have to include the growth as taxable income or the money you take out as taxable income. And if you hit 65, you can even convert it to a Roth. I think you pay 10%, but it's still really, like, these things are a huge tax advantage. So if you have an employer and you have an HSA, it's your HSA. You leave that, you could roll it into another HSA, or you could just keep the same one. I just wouldn't let your employer dictate what investments are in it. A lot of times they're being very conservative. They'll give you like 5 flavors of mutual funds, and you're just not going to see a lot of success doing that. If you want to manage it yourself, just open up a HSA at any major brokerage house, roll the funds in, and do some ETFs or do some stock investing, do some covered calls. You can go nuts in there. And as Peter Thiel, if you don't know who Peter Thiel is, he started PayPal with Elon. He has a Roth IRA with, I think, $4 billion in it from the PayPal stock. And none of it was taxable, and he'll never pay tax on any of that money. So HSAs are a great place to invest and to get a nice tax deduction. And then as long as you use it for health, even if it's just reimbursing, like, again, if you're not getting a benefit for on your Schedule A for health expenses, because you have the, what is it, 10% adjusted gross income limit? Is it 10 or 7.5 this year?
7.5, I believe, still.
7.5, whatever it is. You have a limit on how much on what I can write off. Maybe one of the other accountants can confirm whether it's 7.5 or 10. Always, for some reason, I have 10 stuck.
It was 10 for the longest time during COVID, and I can't remember if they did or not. I haven't seen on the returns.
But there was a lot of folks, they don't spend enough on their medical that exceeds the AGI limit for them to actually use Schedule A as opposed to using their standard deduction. So they take their standard deduction, and they're not getting any benefit for those expenses. Here, if you put it in your HSA, you can use that immediately. You've written it off. There's a deduction for putting it in the HSA, and then you're using it to reimburse your medical expenses. It's great. So it works. See a lot of other questions.
Triple threat, as you call it many times.
Yep, it is a triple threat. It's like, boom. Hey guys, if you like this snippet of Tax Tuesday, then I invite you to click the link and actually subscribe to become a Tax Tuesday member. Every other week, we do these live, and you too can ask your questions, and myself and my team will answer your questions on the next Tax Tuesday.